The book of Isaiah, chapter 19 and verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight, everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I'll destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. And the Egyptians will I give over, and to the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, said Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Lord of hosts. Shalom Yasharallah, which means peace, Israel. I'd like to start off by giving our praises, our honor, and our glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachachodash, Yahweh. That be the true and powerful mighty name of who the world ignorantly calls God, Jehovah, Yahweh, or higher. Bahashem means in the name, Yahweh Shai, that's the true and powerful mighty name of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, Yeshua, or Yeshaya, and the Rachachodash is the Holy Spirit, according to the ancient Paleo Hebrew tongue. I would like to give double honors unto the apostles and elders, a great millstone, for I've learned the truth of the Bible from. And peace, blessing, safety, and salutation unto the hopeful elect, the T believers and listeners out there that came back into the faith and obedience of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And much love and respect unto you, brothers, pushing this gospel in sincerity and truth, risking your lives and freedom now more so than ever. May Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai continue to bless you and your households. I'm the brother Yawam, coming back at you with another lesson, Lord, what is edifying to the Lord's elect. Okay, we all know what's going on with this Carmelo Anthony thing, man. Me personally, I just think they're just using this to promote racial tensions, okay? Because, I mean, you got racial tensions going, all over the world, man. People, coming up against the Israelites, so-called blacks, Hispanics, natives, similar Indians, West Indians, and Haitians. You also have the Israelite foreigners who are likened unto a speckled bird who may look like the heathen nations because they've been scattered amongst the heathen nations. However, their bloodline and their lineage goes back onto Jacob by way of their fathers. Okay? And, it's just a bunch of madness. Okay? Like I said, they're using this as a ploy to heighten racial tensions to get this civil war started. So I came across this article, and let's go ahead and go into it, and then we'll get some more scriptures. And Lord willing, you guys will be edified. Carmelo Anthony verdict draws anti-white rage and lies from radical Democrat Congresswoman, angry activists. So now you're going to have more uproars of the people, more end-time prophecy. Okay? That's there with the second Esdras. Okay? It's going 15 is going to cause more sedition. Okay? So, a Texas Congresswoman is leading the voice of online activists enraged over the guilty verdict in Carmelo Anthony's murder trial and is spreading outright lies and racially inflammatory rhetoric after the 19-year-old was sentenced to 35 years in prison for stabbing Austin Metcalf to death. And honestly, shit, Jake was just defending himself, man, and that's how you know. Hold on. Got a thought of a prescription. Okay. Psalm 73. All right. Psalm 73, and I'm going to start at 3. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked, for there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, and violence covereth them as a garment. Okay, it's talking about you Edomites, you so-called white people, man. Okay, y'all not in trouble as other men. Y'all can shit, you can have an Edomite do the same thing that Carmelo Anthony did, and get a slap on the wrist. But that's just part of the curses. Continuing on, Jasmine Crockett, a rare radical Democrat elected in deep red Texas, took to her podcast after Tuesday's verdict to make false claims about the trial and its jury as she continues to stir up racial hatred. I'm not necessarily convinced, not that I could tell you the name of one person on the jury, that we had 12 impartial white folk out of Collin County sitting on a jury for this young black man, she said, exhibiting her empathy for the convicted murderer. And like I said, if the story I'm hearing is correct, he was jumped by a group of Edomite males, and he unalived one of them. Shit, that's self-defense, bro. And then they saying when she's making false claims, sounds like whoever did this article is biased. Okay, and of course, Jasmine Crockett, she's Eve. And hey, I'm gonna have to side with Eve, man. Okay, for once. They had, I'm pretty sure that they said that the jury was full of 12 impartial white folks, Edomites. So they was going to find him guilty, man, because that ancient hatred, that perpetual hatred they have against us never seems to go away. Sources close to the trial confirmed to Fox News Digital that the jury was not made up of only white people, despite Crockett's claim, which has been parroted by activists online. Of the 12 jurors, 3 were racially minorities, including Asian and Indian. 2 more demographics, 2 more races who don't like us. Miss me with the bullshit, bro. Okay, and and especially if it's one of them ducka red dot Indians, then yeah, them motherfuckers don't like us either, man. Hold on. And now I got to get this. Unless it's going another way. The Psalms chapter 83, verse 1. Keep not thy silent, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace and be not still, O God. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Okay, and these enemies of the Heavenly Father Yahweh are the same enemies of his people, Israel, which I said earlier, primarily you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. The tabernacles of Edom, so-called white people. And the Ishmaelites, the so-called Arab nations. The East Indians will fall under that lot in this list. Of Moab, the Chinese, and the Hagarenes, a Hamitic nation, Gabal, Hamitic nation, and Ammon, which are the Japanese, and Amalek, which is an Edomite nation, which people knows today as the Tiny Top people, the Jewish people, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre, more Hamitic nations, Ashur, I think those are the Assyrians, also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Salah. Okay, so Asian, which you can either be Chinese or Japanese. Okay, so that'll be Moab and Ammon, and Indian, which that's Elam. Okay, but you can lump him up with Ishmael, man. Another nation that don't like us, man. 8 were women and 4 were men. They confirmed that of the 18 jurors, including alternatives, 6 were minorities. Minorities meaning Asian or Indian, man. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit, bro. Y'all know what the fuck y'all was doing. The jury and trial, which spanned 9 days in the Collin County, Texas courtroom this month, found that Anthony intentionally stabbed Metcalf, then 18 to death on April 2nd, 2025. The murder took place after Anthony entered the Memorial High School track team's tent at a meet in Frisco and refused 15 times to leave when asked. Witnesses testified that Metcalf lightly shoved Anthony in an attempt to remove him from the tent. Man, miss me with that lightly shoved bullshit, bro. That nigga, that cracker probably shoved the shit out of Jake, man. After which the team reached in his bag, pulled out a knife, and stabbed Metcalf in the chest. The victim bled to death in front of his twin brother and teammates, many of whom testified at the trial. Yeah, what happened is they probably jumped Jake. Jake, they all ganged up on him, trying to get him out of that tent. And, the Metcalf dude was the one that got hit. Okay? And then they all got their stories together to, get Jake put away, man. Typical. Crockett surmised the jury likely convicted Anthony because residents of Collin County are upset that so many black folk are moving up there in the first place. Hey, man, these Edomites still don't fuck with y'all Jakes, man. The congresswoman who will not retain her seat in the House after redistricting in Texas pushed her district red, bizarrely compared black women in America to the victim's family. Black especially black women who have black male children, live in fear and agony every single day, she lamented. A fear and agony that I promise you the meat class probably had never spent the day living that way. Hey, and that's all Jake, man. Deuteronomy 28. Give me a second. Life. Hang. There we go. Deuteronomy 28:66. I'm going to start up at 64. Okay, but first, Deuteronomy 28:15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken the voice of Yahweh thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So, and that's why we're in the state we're in now. That's why, we're here in America. That's why our race of people, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans is going through the shit that we going through. Because we sinned against Yahweh by Shemi Hawashai. We broke the covenant, and this is part of the stipulations. If we broke the covenant, these curses will fall upon us. So now jumping down, Deuteronomy 28:64, and Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even to the other. And that's why we say scattered to the four winds of the earth. We scattered all over the world. And there thou shalt serve other gods, neither wood, neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. All these false religions they gave us, man. Hey, you got to be thankful that this truth is finally, back on the forefront, man. That we can, wash ourselves of that filth that they try to teach us, plantation Christianity, Catholicism, Muslim, all that fucking garbage, man. That's what it is. Okay, verse 65, and among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life. Let's read that in the NLT real quick. We should amplify that, but let's Deuteronomy 28 and 65. There among those nations you will find no peace or place to rest, and Yahweh will cause your heart to tremble, your eyesight to fail, and your soul to despair. Your life will constantly hang in the balance. You will live night and day in fear, unsure if you will survive. Pretty much the same thing Eve is saying in this article, man. That's shit that our people got to go through. That comment was branded as psychotic by White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy and Homeland Security Advisor Stephen Miller on X. Yeah, fucking another fucking cracker. Typical. Okay, but hey, we coming to the time where Yahweh Shem Shai is finna, take vengeance for his people, man. And y'all people and you Edomites, man, it's gonna be a cold day in hell for y'all, man. Crockett, an attorney, also claimed that the knife Anthony used to kill Metcalf was not a deadly weapon and downplayed its size. Man, activists outside the courtroom sounded off after the verdict was handed down. Dominique Alexander, a local Black Lives Matter activist who has been involved with the Anthony family since Carmelo's arrest, slammed injected racial rhetoric into the conversation. What this process did is show that Black lives do not matter in Collin County. And shit, they don't matter at all to these damn Edomites, man. They don't give a fuck about us, okay? This trial showed that it put emotions over the law. After Trayvon Martin and so many countless names, it's shown us that Black life is not safe in Collin County. Shit, Israelite lives don't matter and is not safe in Babylon the Great in America. Y'all gonna find that out real soon. Martin was killed by George Zimmerman in Stanford, Florida in 2012. A jury found that Zimmerman acted in self-defense, and this is pretty much the same shit. Alexander also claimed without evidence that the judge in case interfered in the process and repeated the false claim that the jury is all white. Might as well be. Okay, you got two other races, Indians and fucking Asians, that kisses the white man's ass. So yeah, it might as well have been all white. Okay. Bree Newsom, an online far leftist, insisted that race was a factor in the case. It was. Carmelo Anthony would have been treated totally different by the legal system were he a white boy killing a black boy, she said. That's the whole point. That's what matters. Stop pretending there's anything black people can do in our behavior to prevent racism. Racism defines the entire system. Crockett's office did not return. Fox News digital request for comment. So, hey man, could this be the straw that breaks Jake's back, and they rise up? Because hold on, Judah Terra. All righty, back to Isaiah 19 and 17. And the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself because of the counsel of Yahweh, Lord of hosts, which he have determined against it. Okay? Yeah, man. So-called, hey, Jake finna rise up, man. Jake's finna rise up, and these people is not finna know what to do, man. At all. Okay? No, that's not the one I wanted. Slot, man. Let me see if I can. Nope. Of course, the blue letter. I know it's Luke. It's in Luke somewhere. Kingdom. Luke 11 and 18. This is the book of Luke, chapter 11 and verse 18. Nope, 17. In the NLT, he knew their thoughts, so he said, any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed. A family splintered by feuding will fall apart. You say I am, and this is Yahweh Shai speaking, you say I am empowered by Satan, but if Satan is divided and fighting against himself, how can his kingdom survive? Going back to Egyptian against Egyptian, man. Okay. How about Shemi Shai is not playing anymore? He's getting tired of the wickedness of this place, and he's finna bring this place down. And Couldn't bring it down fast enough. We tired of being here. 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And the modern day sword is the gun. For they shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Okay? For a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, because they're going to implement martial law, especially when if a civil war kicks off in this country. You damn right they're going to implement martial law, man, to keep the people confined, man. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. It's going to be going down out here in these Babylonian streets, man. 2nd Ezra 9 and 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest parts of the signs pass which I told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, and this is an uproar, people are upset about this, then shalt thou well and we just I did an article earlier this week about the major earthquakes that's happening, and people are starting to ask questions, man. People are starting to see that it's getting close. Each day it's closer and closer, man. All right, we just got to continue to endure this hell that we're in, man. But hey, the Father sees our afflictions down here, and He's about to send Big Brother to come rescue us, man. But you got to endure a little bit longer. So therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Okay? Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works, and endings and effects and signs. We got a whole bunch of signs being shown unto us, man. You just got to have the eyesight to see it. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by his faith wherein you have believed. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and end it there, man. It's finna be trouble brewing in this city. Not in the city, well, in this country. You better get yourselves right with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So with that, I'm going to end this lesson, giving our praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessing, safety, and salutation to the hopeful elect and to you believers and listeners out there. Shalom.